Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of my fellow volunteer directors of the board at Veterans Centre Australia, it gives me great pleasure to welcome you all here to the inaugural Veterans Community of Practice Expo in 2022. We hope this online format provides a mechanism to reach a broad audience across the country, with the flexibility to attend where and when you can throughout the day. We've got a fantastic program, and I'd like to first extend all my deepest gratitude to our presenters, as well as to my team for all their efforts in coordinating this fantastic initiative. I'm here today as a veteran myself with my own transition story after separating in early 2019 after 15 years of service in the Navy. Being in a minor command or a sub-unit command level role at the time, I certainly witnessed and supported many sailors through the variety of different separation pathways and under different circumstances. But looking back, I now realise that I just never had any idea about what it was they were going for, and appreciation for how much work it took and the personal toll. I was shocked and somewhat overwhelmed by the immense administrative burden when I went through that process myself, and the sea of information you need to navigate to successfully transition. That could be everything from your general admin, just applying to leave or separate, getting your medicals in order, finding out how and when you engage with DVA, moving house without DHA or toll, or finding out where it is you're going to live, even things like trying to apply for a Medicare card for the first time. Throughout my career, I knew how to competently manage a high degree of service admin, but I was starting to feel quite lost as I embarked on the transition journey. And ultimately, it felt like at times I was one of the first persons to ever submit that application to transfer service category. That really was until I was connected with the Veterans Centre, who really helped to break down the process and distill that into clear, manageable steps. And they guided me and walked through each of the key milestones throughout the whole process. The support of the Centre directly contributed to my own successful transition. And of course, I've been the biggest advocate ever since, serving as a Veterans Ambassador until August of last year, when I was humbled to be appointed as the chair for the board of the Veterans Centre. Now, I've got the great privilege of providing support in any way that I possibly can to the Centre staff and the volunteers to continue to do the great work that they do. Over the past few years, as many of you know too well, our community's been facing immense challenges through the number of inquiries, investigations, the Royal Commission, all of the associated media coverage of those, and of course compounded by COVID and the ever operational tempo supporting natural disaster efforts and the regional build-up. But I also see that there has also been an opportunistic spotlight shone on our sector, with enormous importance and focus now being placed on veterans' wellbeing and employment initiatives across defence and the industry. At Veterans Centre Australia, we've maintained a laser-like focus over this period into supporting our veterans and families in need to ensure that we can achieve positive and sustainable outcomes for those that come to us and those that need assistance. The theme of this year's Expo is Connect, Collaborate and Cooperate. Our team at the Veterans Centre recognise that everybody's transition experience is uniquely different, shaped by a uniquely different set of circumstances. And as such, there's a near infinite combination of multifaceted needs by transitioning veterans and their families. There really is no one-size-fits-all solution. Our team provides levels of support ranging from urgent high-risk interventions of a tactical nature through to deliberate on-base engagements and long-term wellbeing and care-assisted programs. Our team also understands the unique needs of the veteran community, which often require input from more than one service provider or agency. By operating under a community of practice model, we can act as a wellbeing shopfront as such, connecting you with a wide range of ex-service organisations and partners tailored to your specific needs. I know through my own personal experience that having a positive initial support connection early on directly leads to ongoing engagement with the program, and then ultimately is a positive long-term outcome of your transition. Today is an opportunity for our veteran support teams and our program partners to engage directly with yourselves in an open format, to walk you through a virtual conference or virtual expo as such, of a range of different services and supporting models available for the benefits of yourself and your families right around the country. I've been thrilled to watch the ongoing planning and development for today's program. The team aims to present what we believe is a mixture of challenging, stimulating and topical issues which will include discussions on every aspect of the Australian Institute and Health and Welfare's Veteran Centre model, which we focus on. And we look forward to hearing from our guest presenters and expert panels later today. Importantly, Veteran Centre Australia, as a non-for-profit entity, is operated largely by volunteers and could not do what we do without the support of our generous partners, sponsors and donors. I'd particularly like to acknowledge and thank our principal sponsor for today, Deckham. Without their support, this event would not be possible. Deckham is a proudly Australian veteran-owned and managed company providing project-focused consulting and specialist services in asset management, defence, sustainment and integrated logistics support activities. Deckham's directors and founders, Chris Clark and Andrew Davies, will be available online throughout the day to have a chat if you have any questions. I'm now pleased to get the Expo formally underway as I introduce our co-patrons for the Centre. His Excellency General, the Honourable David John Hurley, AC, DSC, retired, was sworn in as the Governor-General of the Commonwealth of Australia on the 1st of July 2019. David Hurley joined the Australian Army in January 1972, graduating from the Royal Military College Duntroon into the Royal Australian Infantry Corps. In a long and distinguished 42-year military career, his service culminated with his appointment of the Chief of the Defence Force. Her Excellency, Miss Linda Hurley, was born and raised in Sydney. She was educated at Kingsgrove High School and went on to become a teacher, commencing in 1976. She married David Hurley in 1977, and in the course of their married life, Mrs. Hurley supported her husband throughout his career in a wide variety of postings across Australia and overseas, including the United States, the United Kingdom, Germany and Malaysia. Mrs. Hurley has a keen interest in the arts, especially in music. She has a passion for singing and showing how singing, especially in a group, can have a positive impact on the individuals and the community. Together, their Excellencies are prominent and proud supporters to numerous veterans initiatives across Australia and over the years as they continue to serve our community. It's a great honour to have their continued patronage at the Centre. Your Excellencies, thank you.
As joint patrons of Veteran Centre Australia, Linda and I are delighted to participate in the Veteran Community of Practice Expo. I want to thank Veterans Care Australia for the great work it does for the veteran community. Today's online expo is a fine example of its capability. A single front door for all members of the ex-ADF community and their families, as well as current ADF members who have begun the transition journey. This expo will showcase the diverse range of services and programs available.
Australia owes a great deal to the men and women who serve in uniform and to their families. They did as their nation asked. They should be confident and assured that their efforts are valued. We must always look after them.
Connecting people with services and supports is key. The Expo theme, Connect, Collaborate, Cooperate, is particularly apt. The theme recognises that there are many elements to a successful transition.
David and I would like to thank Veteran Centre Australia for its advocacy on behalf of the veteran community. This expo will, I'm sure, be a huge help to veterans and their families.
And for any veteran watching today who is doing it tough, please reach out for help. There is no weakness in reaching out. Help is there and it's waiting for you.
It's a pleasure for David and me to now launch the Veterans Centre Australia Veteran Community of Practice Expo.
Thank you to our patrons, their Excellencies, the Honourable Governor-General and Mrs. Hurley for sharing their words of wisdom with us this morning and for their ongoing support to the ex-service community. Also to our Veteran Centre Australia Chair, Ryan Carmichael, and the Veteran Centre Australia Board, who have shown great leadership and support to this Expo and our Veteran Centre programs. I would also like to acknowledge and thank our principal sponsors, Deckham, and longtime Veteran Centre sponsors, DYRSL Club, CAMCRSL Group, and DYRSL Sub-Branch for their ongoing commitment to supporting veterans and families. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the inaugural Veterans Community of Practice Expo. I am Nikki Noakes, CEO of Veterans Centre Australia, and I would like to thank all our peers for joining us online today from all over Australia, and those of you who join us from overseas. I believe we have some mates from the USA and the Philippines today. So thank you for getting behind this initiative and connecting us with you to be part of a veteran community of practice. I'd also like to acknowledge our mates and the wider veteran community who reside in Southeast Queensland and New South Wales, who are currently battling major floods. We'll be sharing details for where affected veterans and families can seek support and assistance in local communities throughout the day. Our strength and prayers go out to you all during this very difficult time. Difficult times have become our normal state, and sadly something that our sector has had to learn to adapt and overcome on multiple occasions. As His Excellency and Ryan have both outlined, the challenges of transitioning from the military back into civilian community is not a straightforward process, and our mates do rely on services like ours to help guide and give them a helping hand. However, in the last 2 years especially, our community has had to experience greater hardship than in previous years past. We all know the global pandemic had a crippling effect to our economy. In 2020, we paused Anzac Day commemorations. The release of the IGADF Afghanistan report, and then the sudden end of the Afghanistan war. We've experienced several major natural disasters. We saw the release of the National Commissioner's report into veteran and ADF suicide, followed by the commencement of a Royal Commission into veteran and ADF suicide. We've also had a midterm change appointment of DVA Minister. And now, as we prepare for a federal election, we sadly are also observing from afar the outbreak of a new war. But despite these uncertainties that surround these events, as a community, we have continued to show resilience, and we do have a positive outlook for 2022. Our aim in today's Expo and in forming a national community of practice for veteran and family support services is to create a capability that is devoted to the care and wellbeing of current and ex-serving ADF members and their families, and to connect our veteran support service providers. By participating in today's Expo sessions as service providers and committed individuals, we have demonstrated a commitment to improving how we connect, collaborate, and cooperate for the benefit of veterans and families right across Australia, which is also the fitting theme for today's event. As society becomes more open to having conversations about mental health and suicide, our aim moving into 2022 and beyond is to build on these changing attitudes, influence the connections, and demonstrate long-term behaviour change within the ex-service community. We are now encouraging our network of clients and peers to become more involved in their local communities. The more people we have on the ground offering veteran peer support, the greater the social impact in achieving a resilient ex-service community. Now, that term resilience is thrown around a lot to describe our sector. It's what we all strive for, being able to withstand or recover quickly from difficult conditions. But resilience doesn't just happen, it needs to be earned. We need to work together to understand individual needs, to set goals, understand the community landscape, regular sharing of information to build teams and assess what motivates changes in behaviour. And I'm certain today we will hear many examples about mates reaching resilience, from veteran case management to keeping services operational during the pandemic. And in my view, our community has earned this badge of resilience because we do fill the gap. The pandemic did not stop us. We got on with the behind-the-scenes work, the grassroots engagement, boosting veteran and family levels of confidence and building necessary relationships during these difficult times. Aligning with government commitments, Veteran Centre Wellbeing First program delivers support to meet the complex needs of transitioning ADF members and provides support for younger veterans in particular at risk of being lost in transition, by linking to community health and professional services and facilitating pathways to make safe referrals. It has not been uncommon for our team at Veteran Centre to call on other agencies for support to strengthen pathways for service delivery, to probe assumptions, to game theory worst case scenarios, and to test our readiness in good times and in bad. I'm proud of our centre and the strength displayed by the team to keep advocating in a not so normal environment. The expert insights, experiences and solutions offered by our peers has further inspired our team to find new and innovative ways to educate our community. And today is a great example of mates coming together to teach and learn from each other. And today it is my absolute pleasure to be able to introduce an exciting and strong lineup of guest speakers who each represent an important factor of the Australian Institute's Health and Welfare's veteran-centred model. Each guest will showcase their respective service and programs, and we encourage discussion for what is working well within the sector using a solution-focused approach. And we'll also look at the opportunities for furthering improvement to better support our veterans and families so that no veteran is left to navigate the system alone. So this morning, we will start with veteran employment, and we will welcome Craig Dallas Delaney and Megan Banton from Veterans Employment Program, New South Wales Office for Veterans Affairs, followed by Chris North from Inno Club. For health, we look forward to hearing from Casey Mumford from Provocatus and Southern Cross Cannabis Clinics, and Joanna Castle, Case Manager, and Bronte Pollard, RSL New South Wales Liaison Coordinator for the National Centre for Veterans Healthcare from Concord Hospital in Sydney. For housing, we welcome Jonathan Dyer, Team Leader, Veteran Support Team from Salvation Army Housing in Queensland. Legal, we look forward to hearing from Rachel Vincent, Acting Senior Solicitor, and Nicholas Warren, Community Engagement Officer, representing Defence and Veteran Legal Services. For finance, we will hear from Alan Murray and Angela Thurston, Veteran Financial Wellbeing, Uniting Care Gawler in South Australia. For education, we welcome Aaron Cornwall, Student Veteran Services Coordinator from Australian Catholic University, Brisbane. And finally, wellbeing. We have our friends Sarah Hartley, National Programs Manager from Soldier On, and Peter Siggers, Veteran Experience Manager and Rehab Counsellor from IPAR. And to close out the sessions, you'll hear from our very own service team from Veterans Centre Australia, led by Louise Polvoni. So at the end of each session, peers will have an opportunity to participate in a live Q&A session with the guest speakers to discuss the themes in more detail. So please feel comfortable to share your feedback, ask your questions and take part in the conversation, because we really do want to hear from you. There will also be the option to break out into smaller discussion groups if required. So enjoy these sessions. Keep in mind that the theme for today is to connect, collaborate and to cooperate. I'll join you again later this afternoon to introduce our expert panel, who also have been asked to take notes today at each session, and we'll have a good chat to debrief the themes of the day. So let's get started. Please join us in the employment session by leaving this session and clicking the Join It Now button. We'll see you there. Thank you.